Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Fantasy Fellowshow. My name is Kyle. Tonight, we're doing a live fantasy basketball stream. I'm excited to kind of just dive in. The good news is we have a ton of games going on tonight, so we'll kind of hop into a screen share in a second, and we'll kind of peek at some of the games currently going on. It's a big night for the Lakers. They get Anthony Davis back, so I'm sure we'll take a peek at AD and the Lakers at some point. But for now, if you guys do have any fantasy questions or any waiver wire pickup trade questions, please fire those up in the chat room. We'll hang out for as long as we'll see how long we hang out for tonight. I'm just looking at some of the player news, some Wednesday news here. Nikola Vucevic here, probable for Wednesday. DeMar DeRozan is going to play Wednesday. PJ Washington was ejected tonight from the first quarter. That's interesting. I'm also seeing. Here's the Lakers. They're starting Russ, Bradley, LeBron, Stanley, and Anthony Davis. John Morant not on the injury report. Donovan Mitchell is out for Wednesday, as well as Rudy Gobert not playing on Wednesday. So no Utah Stars on Wednesday night. DeAndre Ayton's going to be out on Wednesday night. So I think that's going to leave. Let's actually double check here. I believe that who's been filling in there in Phoenix? I can't recall. And I don't think it's been Kaminsky. Let me just double check here. It's been JaVale McGee. It's been Bismack Biyombo. So Biyombo's going to get another start tomorrow night, it looks like here. Let me just double check this. So Biyombo, again, they've already ruled Ayton out tomorrow night. That looks like Bismack Biyombo has been getting the run the last handful of games, double-doubles, 3 out of the last 4 games, some big fantasy points. So if you need someone just for tomorrow night, Bismack Biyombo probably going to be your guy as they're going up against Utah. And guess what? No Rudy Gobert. So it's a really soft matchup for Biyombo. So I like what I get there. Scotty Barnes is not playing tonight, so we'll take a peek at the Toronto Raptors and see what they got going on. Starters tonight are listed here. And then as far as like any other news, looks like Josh Jackson got ejected from the Nuggets game after arguing a call. So a couple early ejections. Got PJ Washington getting ejected tonight. So a lot of fun here. So what I'm going to do for now is let's actually get into – I want to take a peek at some of the box scores here. I'm just going to go to Fantasy Cast because that actually shows some of the fantasy numbers for us here. So I'll let that play. And maybe we'll pull up a waiver wire watch list type situation. I did put out a waiver wire video last night. So if you wanted to check out some of those players, some of the video players in that video, please go check that out. But what we'll do here is we're going to filter by all players. And I just want to filter by the last 7 days. And we'll come back to this in a little bit, but we'll go through some waiver wire pickups that I think can help you guys the rest of the season. So we do have 6 games going on right now. I think the big one, though, TNT has Lakers and Brooklyn Nets going right now. So this is a fun game here. It looks like Anthony Davis, so far 7 minutes into the game, he's got 6 points, no rebounds, no assists. So he's just kind of idling here, but he's got 3 blocks. So pretty big opportunity there for Anthony Davis to be back on the floor. Again, Stanley Johnson, LeBron James, Russell Westbrook playing. Currently, the Lakers are winning 36-29. Carmelo Anthony still playing well. Malik Monk still getting some minutes here too. Talon Horton-Tucker still getting minutes, but not really translating to fantasy points. On the Nets side, Harden's going off 16 points, not much from anybody else here. Kind of a lost effort from the rest of the squad, it looks like, as nobody else has made more than 1 bucket besides James Harden. So it looks like the Lakers are going to be in a good position here to keep it going. So let's pop into a couple of other games here. I want to look at the Nuggets and the Pistons, and let's see what we got going on here. Just zoom out just a touch. So Denver's up 59-51. Let's take a peek at the box score here. You have Jeff Green, Aaron Gordon, Nikola Jokic, Marcus Morris or Monte Morris, and Austin Rivers all starting the game in this one. Jokic is fine. He's already got a double-double, 10 and 13. Aaron Gordon's playing well. He looks like he's got double-double aspirations tonight as well. Off the bench, nothing really is hitting me too crazy here. So it just looks like the starters for Denver. I'm actually excited because I get to see the Nuggets play the Bucks coming up this weekend. So I'm excited to see what they got here. The bench, that's kind of the problem with Denver is they just don't have much of a bench right now. But I thought I heard Jamal Murray might be back at some point this season. Let's take a peek here, though, at the Pistons. A couple guys in double figures here. You got Cade Cunningham with 13 points, Sadiq Bey at 11, and Hamadou Diallo. Diallo's interesting. I did want to pull up the Pistons here. Let's take a peek at the Pistons for the waiver wire stuff. So over the last 7 days, these have been the best. They have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 dudes over 20 fantasy points. Kelly Olynyk is currently on the COVID list right now, but when he comes back, he's probably going to be a fun player to pick up here. He hasn't played much. He did have like an MCL thing earlier in the season, so if you have IR space, I do think Kelly Olynyk, when he comes back from COVID, he's going to be an interesting piece. And yeah, we're just hanging out solo tonight. I did want to kind of just start, popping in more frequently throughout the week. And we're going to just take a peek at some of the box scores that we got going on currently. And I'll just keep, pumping through some of the names, asking or answering questions and whatnot. And currently, I pulled up the Detroit Pistons because they have a decent amount of fantasy guys here. Again, starting with Olynyk, I think if you have IR, go ahead and slide him there. Cunningham starting to play well. He's almost 90% rostered though, so not too widely available. I do think Sadiq Bey though, 61%. If anyone drops him, he has been very consistent with the minutes. The scoring's been kind of hot, hit or miss, but everything else has been pretty steady. So you just don't know if you're going to get the 8 or 10 point game from him, or you're going to pop off for somewhere in the 20s, 30s. Only 61% rostered. I think in 10-man leagues he needs to be picked up for sure. Corey Joseph here has been playing pretty good minutes the last couple of weeks here. Only one bad game in this bunch here, but the rest has been pretty consistent here. The points, not so much, but he's a good rebounder, assister, and occasionally gets you some points on the defensive end. Trey Lyles has been getting a lot of run these last few weeks here. Probably a guy that you just need to throw out there. He doesn't really get double doubles very often. But he's been very steady, 4 to 6 rebounds. He gets a couple assists, and the points are kind of boom bust. But he's been very steady the last couple weeks here. But with Kelly Olynyk coming back, I think that's going to probably die out. But for now, he is interesting. Isaiah Stewart, kind of just a low floor guy, 22.6 points per game of the last 7 days. And then I still like Hamadou Diallo. He's been kind of down the last 4 games here, but he's got some really high upside. So I don't know if he's going to kind of lose minutes when Olynyk comes back, but just something interesting. And then what's going on with our guy, Jeremy Grant? So he's been rehabbing a thumb injury, and now he's entering. This was on yesterday. He's in the health and safety protocols. So we're not sure when he's going to be in there. He had been playing with the G League though, so he's really close. We're probably going to see Jeremy Grant soon. Let's move on to a different game though. Hornets and Raptors. This is an interesting one. Real quick, let's take a peek here. Of course, we saw that PJ Washington got ejected early in this one, so you're going to see some other guys get some more minutes tonight. But starters for the Hornets, you got Cody Martin, you have Miles Bridges, you have Mason Plumlee, LaMelo Ball, and Terry Rozier. All these guys look pretty good here. Plumlee, not really a guy I'm excited about, but Cody Martin has been playing well of late here. He's leading the team in minutes tonight too. And then Kelly Oubre, not sure why he's not starting. He had been getting the start earlier in the season. He's playing okay. I like Book Knight here too. James Book Knight starting to get some run. But they're getting waxed here by the Raptors, 74-59. Let's take a peek here. The Raptors starters tonight were Siakam, Boucher, Achiuwa, OG Anunoby, and Gary Trent. Again, no Scott Barnes tonight. Scotty Barnes, I can't remember what his injury was. What was that? With a right wrist injury. So I'm not sure if he's going to miss a couple more games here, but this is what the Raptors starting lineup looked like. Malachi Flynn getting some backup minutes here. And Watanabe here also getting 11 minutes or so. But the starters look really good tonight for the Raptors. Siakam having a nice night, 8 for 13 shooting, 7 rebounds, 8 assists, and 19 points. You also have OG Anunoby, 6 for 10 shooting, 13 points. Gary Trent Jr. having a good night from 3 of 6 for 15 points. So Raptors starters, you're looking pretty good. And when Scotty Barnes comes back, that's probably going to push, some minutes away from Boucher and Achiuwa here. So we'll see, but just wanted to round that out. And let's take a peek at our next game. Clippers and Wizards. Oh my goodness. The Wizards, 66-36 at halftime here. What is going on? Let's take a look at some of these numbers here for the Clippers. Reggie Jackson leading the team with minutes. You got Terrace Mann here at 15. Amir Kofi with 15 here. He's actually leading the team in scoring with 7 points. This just looks like a throwaway game here. Like they're kind of just playing everybody here. Not sure if this was kind of just like a planned disaster type game here, but this is ugly. Batum, Zubac here getting some minutes at the top. Zubac 0 for 5. That's interesting. But the Wizards getting it done. Kuzma with 10 points at half. You got Gafford, 10 points at half. Only 6 minutes for Gafford's interesting. Spencer Dinwiddie with 5 points. Bradley Beal only 7 points. It just looks like everybody's connecting from deep here. Got a lot of guys hitting random threes on the bench. 1, 2, 3, 4 bench 3 points here, and some high efficiency shooting from Gafford. Bradley Beal only 5 shot attempts. That's interesting. It's good to see this team back though with Hachimura and Thomas Bryant. I think you're going to probably see these guys inch closer and closer into the top 10 of the Eastern Conference. If they're not there already, they're going to be there really soon. So Hachimura and Thomas Bryant, get these guys if they're available in your league. Let's actually go look at this. I'm going to filter by percent rostered. You have Thomas Bryant, only 16.8% rostered here. Let's take a peek at what he's been doing. He hasn't been hitting yet, but I like that his minutes the other night, 22 minutes, 11 points here. So this is a guy that we know he's a good scorer. It's been a while since we've seen him play, but he's a guy that's worth holding on to and seeing what happens here as his minutes and his legs get underneath him. I like Thomas Bryant quite a bit. And then the other guy here, Rui Hachimura, might actually be, he's probably a better pickup right now. You see him trending up nicely over the last 4 games. His minutes coming in somewhere between 17 and 20 minutes. The scoring's up. The rebounding is pretty nice there. So I do like what Hachimura is doing right now. And again, this Wizards team, kind of fun right now. Getting Hachimura and Bryant back. You still have Avija here and Montrezl Harrell. So this looks like a deep team. I think who knows when they're going to get Bertans or Aaron Holiday back here. But I like what the Wizards are up to. We'll go to the Pelicans and the Sixers next, but I want to answer this question from our guy. Aiden's asking, start bench cut, Duarte, Clark, and Boucher. Let's take a peek here. I know it's Boucher, but I always like to just say Boucher. But Duarte has been playing good ball of late here. Let me hit the compare tool. Clark. Is this Brandon Clark? He only got... I'm assuming this is Brandon Clark. Is that correct? And then you got the Bushman. All right. So over the last 7 days, Brandon Clark's been averaging the least amount of fantasy points, probably also the least amount of minutes. But he's a high points per minute kind of guy. But in terms of minutes, he's the lowest with 24 minutes and only 27 fantasy points per game. The other two, Duarte leads the way with minutes with 32 minutes, 32.8 points per game over the last 7 days. I think you have to keep him. I mean, just look at some of these numbers. I know Sabonis is not playing right now, but Duarte is hot. I think you have to keep him for sure. And then Boucher, I don't know. His minutes are very sporadic, which is weird. I do think you probably want to keep him. And then I would say Brandon Clark is interesting, man. I don't feel good cutting him because he's been really good. I don't like that his minutes are low. And I really do like the Grizzlies. So this is a tough one. I think long term, I really like Duarte and Boucher here. And I think I might let Brandon Clark go. And what's this day-to-day thing? He's questionable for tomorrow night with a back injury. So more just with the back injury, I think I'll let Brandon Clark go. And then for now, I'm going to start Duarte and we'll hold on to Boucher. That's a tough question, man. That's probably like an 8-man league. That is a pretty difficult decision there if you have to cut one of those guys. But let's keep it moving. I want to check in on some of the other games here. We're going to check into the Pelicans and the Sixers. This game's at halftime here. Let's see what's cooking. The Pelicans up 58-50. This one's in Philadelphia too. For the Pelicans, you got Willie. I think his name is Juancho. I can't remember his full name, but Willie Hernan Gomez with 21 points, 8 of 11, shooting 5 boards, just putting up a monster night here. Alexander Walker chipping in 18 points, 7 of 11, 4 of 6 from 3. Those are the 2 leaders. I'm not seeing much from Garrett Temple. It looked like Devontae Graham didn't play tonight. Brandon Ingram's still out, of course. Interesting. Where is Isaiah? What was his name? Can't remember his name. Josh Hart not playing. What's up with Josh Hart? Sprained left ankle. So no Valanciunas, no Devontae Graham, no Brandon Ingram. So interesting. The Pelicans are playing great ball here tonight so far through two quarters. And then the Sixers side of things, Tobias, 7 of 10 as a shooter, 17 total points. Embiid, 18.7 boards. Maxey, not really doing much, 2 of 6 as a shooter, 5 points. Thibault, nothing. Korkmaz, 0 for 4. He does have 3 points. So Andre Drummond, not doing much. Kind of just an ugly game so far. So we'll see if the Sixers can get it rolling in the second half. They're going to need Tobias and Embiid to continue doing what they're doing, and then hopefully Korkmaz or Maxey can get some buckets in there. Start bench cut. Barnes, Ayo, and Royce. Dosumu. I finally learned how to say his name. Ayo Dosumu. Dosumu. For the Chicago Bulls. Let's get him in there. I was watching this game last night in Chicago because I have SGA and I had Dosumu in one of my leagues here, so I was watching this game. It was kind of fun. But Scotty Barnes, and then let's get Royce, the 5'9", in there. Okay, over the last 7 days, Royce is the worst. He's only averaging 18 points per game. Not looking good here. He had been playing. I mean, if I just filter by the whole season here, the whole season he's averaging 21.7. So that's kind of low. I think. See, what's nice about Royce is he's a veteran. We can trust him. His lows aren't that bad. But these last 2 nights, an 8 and a 10, don't know what's going on here. He kind of pops off into the mid to high 20s some nights here. So he's just not playing his best. Whereas Barnes, I think you have to keep Barnes. I don't even want to think about letting him go. So I'm keeping Barnes. And then Dosumu, he's just been tearing it up the last couple of weeks here. Only 1 bad game of 12 points, but the other floor was about 20. So I think I'm going to let Royce go. I think you can find other guys that are averaging about 20-some points per game off the waiver wire. We can look at some guys too, but I think I'm going to keep the youth here. Dosumu. Oh, no, Scotty Harrison. What happened? What happened? Not Scotty Harrison. What? Harrison Barnes. Okay, there we go. Let me add Harrison Barnes here. Okay. Well, either way, we'll look at this as a unit. Harrison Barnes it took him a while to get rolling. I know when he first came back at the end of December, it was kind of slow, but he's been playing good ball. I'm going to leave him. The minutes are high. He's a good scorer. He does have a chance to be traded too. I don't know if they're going to keep him around or whatnot, but I'm keeping Harrison Barnes here. I'm going to keep Dosumu, and then I'll let Royce O'Neal go. I think we can find somebody else. To get us about 20-some fantasy points if you needed it. But let's keep it moving. We just looked at the Pelicans and the Sixers. Yes. Yeah. We're going to keep Harrison Barnes. We're going to keep Ayo Dosumu, and we're going to let Royce go because I think we can replace him pretty easily. Kings and Sixers. Speaking of Harrison Barnes, let's see what he's got going on tonight. The Kings starters tonight, Marvin Bagley, Harrison Barnes, Rashawn Holmes, Tyrese Halliburton, good to see him back. And then Terrence Davis, he continues to start over Buddy Hield, Davion Mitchell still on the bench here, Damian Jones, and then Mo Harkless getting some run tonight. Who are we missing from this lineup? I feel like why can't I think of their best player? The little De'Aaron Fox. When's De'Aaron Fox coming back? But anyways, Boston blowing out the Kings. Terrence Davis leads the way with 7 points. Rashawn Holmes, 4 points, 4 boards. Kind of an ugly night here. Harrison Barnes, it's an ugly game for him so far. But again, It's early yet. We could still see some decent fantasy numbers on the Boston side of things. Jaylen Brown not leading the way. Tatum's leading the way with 19 points, 4 of 8 from 3. Jaylen Brown up here at 15 points. Grant Williams having a nice bench night, 2 for 2 from 3-pointers, 8 total points here. Otherwise, like Horford not doing much. Robert Williams does have 8 rebounds, which is nice, only 4 points. And then Marcus Smart, only 2 shots here. So it's the Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown show. They have nothing to stop them. So we'll see if some of these guys can come back here. But it's a long night for fantasy. Again, it's mid-second quarter. They'll get their numbers eventually. And then I think we are all caught up on games. Spurs and Rockets just tipped off. Let's see who's starting over here. For the Spurs, you got Doug McDermott, Keldon Johnson, Jakob the Turtle Pirtle, Derek White, and DeJounte Murray. Let's see down here for the Rockets, you got Jayshawn Tate, Christian Wood is playing, Eric Gordon, KPJ, and then Jalen Green. So far, nothing really too crazy here. Rockets leading the way, 13-10. We'll see what happens later in this one. So we got all the games covered here. We have 2 more games to play tonight: Mavericks and the Warriors. It looks like is that all the TV? This is the TNT game tonight, Mavs Warriors. So I'll be watching this one later tonight for sure. And then while I have you guys here, I'm gonna let's just try to throw some waiver wire names out for you guys to finish the show. I'm going to filter by all. Let's look at the last 7 days here, and I'll see if I can find some guys to add to the watch list for you. Just working my way down. So I'm intrigued with Terrence Davis. I don't really know what's going on with De'Aaron Fox. So he's got an ankle injury. He should be back soon, but he had like the last few games he's been playing really well. The fantasy numbers are pouring in for Davis. So, and again, with that trade deadline coming up, I don't know if there's going to be more minutes for a guy like Davis, but he's playing good ball. The last, 4 or 5 games, he's playing well. He's their best player tonight, points-wise. So we'll see here. I'm interested in him. A lot of it depends on De'Aaron Fox's health, though. Let's see. Who else can we find here? Again, we talked about Biyombo earlier. I think for tomorrow night, if you're playing DFS or any kind of fantasy stuff, like Biyombo is going to get it. He's getting the start tomorrow night against a Rudy Gobert-less Utah Jazz. So I think, did they play them again tomorrow night? That is true, right? They play Utah again tomorrow night. So I think Biyombo, if you just want to add a guy for tomorrow night, that's probably the guy that you're going to need big numbers from. Go ahead and do it. Not sure why Josh Hart is out, but he's been playing really well, kind of filling up the box score. Like, look at some of these numbers. Just playing really good, almost getting double doubles almost every night here. So he's only 51% rostered. If you play an 8 or 10 man, like Aiden, like I'd rather have Josh Hart than I'd rather have Royce O'Neal, Josh Hart. Give me Josh Hart. That's a pretty easy decision for me. Let me see who else. Some 50%ers, Aaron Gordon and Fernie Simons need to be rostered for sure. Talked those guys up a lot. Chris Duarte, only 27% rostered. He needs to be much higher right now. So he's a must add if he's available in your leagues. I still really like DeAndre Hunter. He's questionable for tomorrow night's game with low back discomfort. But since he started, getting the minutes again, he's been a 30, fantasy point player. So check out DeAndre Hunter if you need somebody only under 20% rostered. So I think that's a must-have. And then keep your eye on Kelly Olynyk. I think next week you're going to see him back into the lineup. He had a massive game against Sacramento last week, and then he entered the health and safety protocols. So Detroit, it's kind of a lost cause, but I think they did give him a good amount of money to be there. He's going to be a piece that they want to get into their offense. And I think if you have the IR space, stash Kelly Olynyk. What do we got here? Start bench cut. Bagley, Whiteside, Eric Gordon. Okay, so Whiteside, I don't trust Whiteside. I know that he's getting some time because of Gobert not playing. But as far as longevity, I don't trust Whiteside. I actually do think Marvin Bagley has been playing well. Let me see what Eric Gordon's been doing. Eric Gordon's numbers. I think I'll bench Gordon and just Bagley. So tonight's game, it looks ugly. I'll give you that. But Bagley, the last few games, has been playing better. double here, higher points here. So I'm gonna hold on. I'm gonna start Bagley. We'll bench Gordon. And I mean, I suppose if you needed someone for a game tomorrow night, Whiteside could be the guy. He did play well last night. I just don't know how long Gobert is going to be out for. So if you need someone for tomorrow night, go with Whiteside. But for the rest of season, I don't know if I trust it. So, but I think that's going to do it. We covered some names for you guys. If you want to check out the full waiver wire video, I did drop that last night. We'll go live on. I think we're going to go live on Thursday night. I'll have for sure. I think I'm going to have Drake with me. I don't know about John. He might be on vacation still. I'm not sure. But anyways, thank you for your time. If you guys are new to the channel, definitely subscribe. Help us get to 400. We're at, I think, about 397. So that would be cool if I helped you in any way in this video. Please hit us up with a subscription. So thank you guys so much for your time. We'll see you in a future video. Good luck. We'll see you later. Peace.